Now, you know you need a will that covers your Bitcoin, but every time you sit down to do it, you hit the same brick wall. Where do I start? What do I even write? Should I do this myself or should I just contact a lawyer? In this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to include Bitcoin in your will, what to put in, what to leave out, and the critical mistakes that can make this whole thing useless. And stick around to the end where I'll show you the one document that I believe is more important than the will itself. Some will name Bitcoin as a gift and others will put their seed phrase directly in their will. Your will becomes a public document during probate. And it's for that reason that we don't want to include any sensitive information within your will. Stuff like seed phrases, passwords, wallet details, and anything else that you think is private and sensitive should be totally excluded. Now, for the same reason, you may want to consider excluding Bitcoin as a specific gift in your will. Not only does it compromise your beneficiary's privacy, but it may actually create security concerns for them in the future. And that concern is real. So your will doesn't necessarily need to name your Bitcoin and other digital assets that you own. It simply has to give your executor the right to receive, transfer, store, and deal with your Bitcoin and or digital assets. You also want to give your executor the ability to appoint Bitcoin specialists in the recovery and security of your Bitcoin. Your will should also include reference to your letter of wishes, which is a private document separate from your will about how you wish your estate to be administered. Within your letter of wishes, you need to direct your executor where to find the technical roadmap, that is, access instructions to your Bitcoin. Think of the will as the who gets what and the technical roadmap as how to actually get it. The will is like a legal wrapper and the technical roadmap is like an instruction manual. You need both, but most people are only thinking about the will. The technical roadmap is the one document I referred to from the beginning, saying that most people forget about this. In fact, I think it's actually more important than the will itself. So how does this all fit together? The letter of wishes is the private guidance note to your executor about what you want to have happen with your estate. Within that document, you will need to make reference to the fact that you own Bitcoin, where your executor can actually go and obtain the technical roadmap. And it is also the place where you would appoint a digital asset specialist or a technical contact, a trusted individual that your executor can appoint to assist with the recovery and security of your Bitcoin. By contrast, your technical roadmap is the step-by-step instructions as to how exactly you access and recover the Bitcoin. It's like a recipe. You got to follow step 1, step 2, and step 3. It may say something along the lines of, go to this location to obtain one piece of hardware, grab the other piece of hardware from my bedside drawer at home, and then I need you to contact a trusted technical contact to assist with the recovery of my Bitcoin. And remember, your technical roadmap must be written in plain language, no jargon, and it needs to be written in such a way that it is understandable to someone who is non-technical in nature. It needs to be dead simple, no ambiguity, no gray areas, because you don't have a second chance to redo this. And here's one area that I think a lot of DIY wills necessarily fall apart. You can draw the most fantastic, elaborate document, but if you do not execute it properly in terms of the requirements of the law, it is invalid. And therefore, whatever you want to happen to your Bitcoin will become null and void. Now, the requirements vary by jurisdiction, but generally speaking, you need 2 independent witnesses. In other words, those are witnesses who are not beneficiaries to witness you signing the will in their presence. You need to be of sound mind when you're making it. You need legal capacity. You need to understand what you're doing and the consequences of what you're doing. But other than that, it's a relatively straightforward process, but you need to make sure that you nail this one. Otherwise, your efforts will be in vain. Do not do this all by hand. Handwritten wills are only valid in a small number of jurisdictions, and even then, it's limited to specific circumstances. Get this one typed up properly, print it out, and sign by hand. And I'll remind you what's at stake here. If you do not have a valid will, whatever you intend to happen with your Bitcoin is irrelevant. And so the state rules, the default rules relating to your assets will apply, and that may or may not align with your wishes. I don't know many Bitcoiners who want the state to get involved in determining how their Bitcoin is distributed. So do yourself a favor and take the signing part of your will very seriously. So now you've got the will, you've got the letter of wishes, and you've got the technical roadmap. Those are the three core documents, but there's a fourth that really closes the loop, and that is the digital asset inventory. It lists exactly everything that you have without providing access instructions to it. It's just an inventory, but it's not giving you access like a technical roadmap. And the good thing is that it's not just for digital assets like Bitcoin, it's for anything where you've got a digital footprint, your social media accounts, your brokerage account, your superannuation or your pension fund, anything that has a digital footprint, you may as well capture there so that your executor can actually collect all your assets simply and easily without having to jump through a million hoops. Make their life easy. So the digital asset inventory just describes what you have, but doesn't describe how to access it. The technical roadmap describes how to actually access your Bitcoin and other digital assets. Your letter of wishes is a private guidance note to your executor about what you want to have happen with your Bitcoin, where you'll mention that you've got Bitcoin, you'll name a trusted technical contact or a digital asset specialist to assist in the recovery and security of your Bitcoin, as well as describing where to find the technical roadmap. And then, of course, you've got the will, which distributes your estate. Without those four pieces of the puzzle, your inheritance plan has holes. Before I wrap up, let me explain 5 mistakes that people are making right now. The first is putting your seed phrase in your will. It's a public document. That's a terrible idea. Don't do it. 2, specifically naming Bitcoin in your will. Doing so compromises the operational security of your beneficiaries. And given the fact that there is a $5 wrench attack every 3 days or so in France, can you imagine what it's like in 20, 30, or 50 years when the stakes are much, much higher? Don't do that either. 3, not updating your technical roadmap when your self-custody setup has changed. As Bitcoiners, we're constantly upgrading our Bitcoin self-custody setup, and it is critical that we ensure that the technical roadmap contains the most relevant and up-to-date setup. Otherwise, your Bitcoin's inaccessible. 4, naming a beneficiary in your will who has no idea about Bitcoin and not educating them. That's a recipe for disaster. And number 5, not telling anybody about the fact that you've actually got a will or where to go about finding it. Any one of these 5 mistakes can undo all the good work that you've done in stacking sats and taking Bitcoin into self-custody. But the good news is that they are all very fixable. So to recap, your will should not specifically refer to Bitcoin. Your letter of wishes should provide information about how your executor accesses the technical roadmap document. Your technical roadmap provides step-by-step instructions to your executor on how to access your Bitcoin. The will must be properly executed or signed with 2 independent witnesses who are not beneficiaries. And lastly, you must have a digital asset inventory to tie it all together, describing the what without providing access instructions to your Bitcoin. I promise you one document that almost everyone forgets, and that's the technical roadmap. It's the bridge between the legal world, your will, and the technical world, the reality of self-custody Bitcoin, needing additional information to actually access your Bitcoin. Without the technical roadmap, your will is like a door that is permanently locked and nobody can find a key. If you want to know exactly where the gaps are in your current plan, go to mybitcoinwill.com, take the free Bitcoin inheritance stress test. It's free, it's private, and it will highlight exactly where the gaps are in your setup. If you found this video valuable, I'll be putting out content once a week, so subscribe to the channel, like and share it with those who you think might benefit from the message. See you in the next one.